I'm Windrunner Cosplay, and my entry for the Craftsmanship Contest at ColossCon East 2025 is Sylvanas Windrunner from World of Warcraft. I will be entering in the Journeyman level division. I chose this particular costume because this is my absolute favorite character from my absolute favorite video game. I have done a huge amount of research, not just in-game, but also through reading many of the books that have her backstory. This costume is extra special to me because my first cosplay was Sylvanas, and this is a complete rebuild. This time, the costume took me over 500 hours to build. The biggest challenge with this costume was the amount of armor that I had to make. All of my armor is built out of EVA foam, and I utilized patterns from Kamui Cosplay, completely modified them to fit me and to match the shapes I needed. And then once they were built, anything that was part of the upper armor, I did put Warbla or thermoplastic sheets on to make them a little bit sturdier. Even though this was a largely armor-based costume, there was still some sewing to do. All of the fabric I chose to use, I carefully selected based on the look I wanted for each piece. I also modified, combined, and or made my own custom patterns where I needed to for all of the fabric pieces. The cape required some extra details where I could have a little bit of fun with some really neat techniques. So the bottom edge is all burned to have that tattered, worn look that you would expect of the Banshee Queen, as well as to bring in the delicate elements of decoration along the edges. I utilized some different stitches on my machine, including a straight stitch and a embroidery stitch, just to get those gold details. When all is said and done, each piece is all separate and individual. There are hidden closures and snaps all over the costume to help things attach together, as well as buckles. There are over 50 individual pieces alone in this cosplay. I will be refining elements of the costume as well as adding a couple more details before con. When I considered Sylvanas' makeup, I really wanted to make sure I didn't just get the tear stains, but also get the scar from her Makara with Sarfang. Moving into the props, I have built most of the large props. I made a custom black arrow with the smoke effect wrapped around the arrow, as well as 3D printed her bow that she has as War Chief. This bow was very difficult to decide how to build due to the bones, but finally I settled on 3D printing the bow. In order to 3D print the bow, I did find somebody who had a file created. 3D modeling is still a skill I am learning, but from there, all of the work I did myself with guidance from my husband, who is my 3D printing expert. It took about 12.5 days to print the whole bow in pieces. I then glued them together with plastic cement and painted them before fully attaching all of the pieces together. What is a bow without a quiver? For the quiver, I did custom build this. I found a scrapped piece of gutter lying around my house that I used as the base and built onto it. Most of the bow is built from EVA foam and Dremel sanded to shape. The skull is 3D printed using a scan of the skulls on the shoulder pads. In making the arrows, this is one place I added a special detail. Sylvanas, when she was Ranger General, was part of a group called the Trio. So there are 2 special arrows in the quiver just for Lorthramar and Holderon. To capture some of the special effects, I added fog machines to the arm guards to hint at Sylvanas being the Banshee Queen. I also plan to add a few other elements to hint at some different aspects of Sylvanas' life, like her sisters and Nathanos, as well as Lyrith, her brother. For me, this cosplay is not just building a cosplay, but telling a character's full story. It is my favorite, and I cannot wait to share more with you at con through my build book and the in-person interviews. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you in September.